Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is where you are at the moment. Welcome back to Design for Dummies. I'm so glad to see you back here. I really hope you watched my first video, because if you didn't, then you know what, you might as well just leave right now. Just kidding. No, but I hope you did watch my first video. I will link it down in the description box below. And yeah, today we are actually going to do something a bit more fun. It's not going to be a tutorial, but I'm going to try and describe 10 of the Adobe Creative Cloud apps in 1 minute or less. I really hope that it's helpful and insightful as well as easy, because I'm not going to lie, I'm a tad nervous. I think that it's going to be really difficult to describe them in a minute or less. I can't do anything in a minute or less. Sorry, that sounded really disgusting, but I really hope that I can do this, and I hope that it's helpful and insightful, and I hope that you actually can take something away from this video that is helpful. Otherwise, you know, just watch it. Please laugh at me, please laugh at me trying to do this, because I have not prepared. I'm going to stop myself right there, because I realized after filming the first minute or less explanation that I in fact was not capable of doing this unprepared. If you want to take absolutely nothing away from this video, then make me explain things in a minute or less under pressure without preparing anything or even considering it beforehand. So I did prepare something, so if you see me peering up at a screen, then you know why. It's just because I jotted down some bullet points so that this video would actually be useful in some way and not just a complete waste of your time. So yes, please forgive me. So I hope it is good, and I hope that you enjoy this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe down below. It really helps my channel.
And if you don't do it, I will come for you.
Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to use time on my watch, and I will put a timer up on the screen so that you can see that I can do this in a minute or less. I believe in myself. But yeah, the first app we are going to do is Photoshop. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, so Photoshop. I think Photoshop is kind of like the heart of all apps, because it has the heart of the whole like Creative Cloud apps, because it has so much diversity, and you can do pretty much anything in it. Like you can do photo editing, you can create like illustrations in it, although it's not ideal for illustrations, but you can create illustrations in it. You can do photo editing, you can do animation, even you can do stop frame animation in it. So yeah, Photoshop has a wide variety of things to do, and you can mainly do, yeah, like I said, image editing, face swapping, basically like Facetune. Yeah, it's just a more difficult Facetune, if you want to put it that way. You can even work with 3D design in Photoshop. That's kind of like a newish feature that they've added into it now. Photoshop does actually work with bitmap graphics, which is kind of like, it works with pixels. So if used correctly, you can, yeah, produce highly detailed, very clear compositions. But if you use it in the wrong way, then yeah, not so clear compositions. But overall, I think it's a great app to get. Yeah, so that was just a minute. And there was so much more I wanted to say. Okay, anyways, the next app we are going to do is Illustrator. Illustrator is a little bit more complex, I'd say. It's a bit, yeah, okay. I need to stop describing it, because that's for the minute. Okay, so let's go with Illustrator. 3, 2, 1, go. So, okay, Photoshop is, Illustrator is like Photoshop, but it's for vectors. So vectors are not composed of pixels, so they can be scaled to any size without losing any of their quality, which is great for, for logos and branding. And this is mainly why designers use Illustrator for logos and branding and stuff, because you can take a logo that's the size of a business card and scale it up to a billboard, and you wouldn't lose any of the quality. So you use, basically use Illustrator for vector art. There's lots of people that use Illustrator for clean illustrations to put into After Effects to actually create animations from that. So just remember that Illustrator is great for that as well. And these vectors can actually be converted into bitmap again, bitmap graphics like Photoshop has, but just be careful, because they can't be converted back, and I've made that mistake many times. So don't try and convert them back, but if you need it for Photoshop, you can convert them. So yeah, I don't have a lot of time left. Damn it. Okay, I feel like I kind of did well in that one. I didn't do well. Please don't dislike this video. Okay, so the next app we are going to do is InDesign. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so InDesign is mostly for things like editorial design. So if you want to design a magazine, if you want to do some EPUBs, if you want to do interactive PDFs, and it's basically for publishing both like print and online documents. So if you need something to be printed on like a huge ton of I was gonna swear there. If you need something to be printed on a lot of pages, that's InDesign. It's well equipped in the like typography department, so you shouldn't really try and create top class art in InDesign because it's not going to work. Yeah, you must rather just create it in Photoshop or Illustrator and drag it across. So InDesign is for layouts and like very text heavy things. So if you need a lot of text in one like document with a lot of pages, that helps with it. It has like very advanced character and paragraph settings and options. So InDesign is mostly for that. You can even publish documents online for other people to view with buttons and interactive table of contents and text and title animations and all sorts of things. But yeah, don't try and create art because you will fail if you do it in InDesign. Okay, so that was 1 minute and 1 second. I feel like I did pretty well. I feel like it's going well. I have yet to do one in under a minute, so we'll see if I get there. Okay, but let's move on to the next one. The next app is After Effects. Yeah, love a good After Effects. Don't actually love it all the time, but you'll see why. So let's do After Effects. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, After Effects. So one word, animation. I use After Effects for animation. You can use it for video editing as well to create animation to like already recorded footage, but I mostly use it for animation. Few other words, you really need a lot of RAM space and you need a lot of disk space and a ton of CPU power. So just be certain you have these things before going into it because it wants to and it will destroy your laptop if you use After Effects without all of these things. So nonetheless, it's also for adding visual effects, sound, and motion to animation and videos. You can even create animations from scratch on After Effects. It has an amazing animation tool called the Puppet tool, which is super handy for like 2D character animation. It also functions hand in hand with like green screens, and you can add pretty much anything to your videos to give it more spice. It also has some really nice built-in effects, but it's quite a difficult program to learn, so be patient when you are learning it and be patient with it because it is great. That was another minute. I feel like I'm doing well. Okay, should we just move on to the next one? I don't want to bore you, so I'm just going to move straight into the next one, which is Premiere Pro. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so Premiere Pro is primarily for video editing, like I said, recorded footage. So it's super easy to cut, move around, delete scenes, delete things that you need to delete, things that you didn't mean to say or whatever. And it's very easy to add in like different clips and different footage that you've already taken in audio. Basically like a YouTube video, like how people edit their YouTube videos. It's very similar to that app that you get on MacBooks. Can't remember what it's called. iMovie, that's what it's called. It's very similar to iMovie. You can also add text, you can correct the color in the video, you can add in like JPEGs or PNGs or like branding, logos, other elements from the other Adobe InDesign apps as well. Adobe Design Creative Cloud apps. Sorry, not InDesign. And yeah, it's fairly easy to learn and it offers a lot of like solid video editing tools, and I think anyone can learn it if they really wanted to. It's basically perfect for a videographer, a YouTuber, or an influencer who makes videos. So yeah, that's pretty much Premiere Pro. That was good. That was a lot better. I feel like I'm getting the hang of this, and yeah, I feel like I can carry on. I can do this. We have yet to be over 1 minute. Well, we have gone like 1 or 2 seconds over, but we have yet to be way over 1 minute. So I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. Okay, so let's move on to the next app, which is Lightroom. So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so Lightroom is great for basically Lightroom, one word, photos. It's great for organizing thousands of images and manipulating the light, like color, tone, detail, and making corrections on images. It works really well with raw images to make sure that your camera setting is on raw when you are taking photos to work with on Lightroom. It also allows you to keep the original image separate from the one that's edited, so it creates a separate file for the edited version and the original version, so that's really great so you don't lose the original file. And there are a few versions of Lightroom, like Lightroom Classic, Lightroom Classic CC, Lightroom CC, not Lightroom Classic, CC, that's the same. I messed that up. Let's just forget about what I just said. There's a lot of Lightrooms and they all have different ways of storing and arranging images. So just make sure that when you are downloading one of them, just double check which one would be more useful to you before downloading. I don't have a lot of time. It can also be used to create and apply presets to your images. They can all have the same lighting and settings so that your Instagram looks fire. Yo, just made that one. That was stressful. I like stressful. I'm actually starting to sweat a little bit. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next app that I'm going to talk about is Adobe XD. XD is fairly new, and I'm going to stop talking about it now because it's actually for the 1 minute. So 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, like I said, Adobe XD is a fairly new app. It only got introduced like I think 2 or 3 years ago. So it's basically the Adobe like website builder. It can be used to design like user interface and user experience, but be careful because if you do design the website on XD, it doesn't necessarily work. It doesn't just give you a domain so you can post it online or publish it online. You have to actually take it to a web developer so that they can code it for you, and then they can basically make it into a fully functioning website. So just be careful of that. XD has great options for like micro animations. So if you want certain things to move when you click on them, or like certain things to change color when you hover over it with your mouse, things like that, it's really great for that. So you can do those as well. And it also does have a lot of downloadable plugins that will help you like add in video and animation and audio. It does have the option for responsive design as well. So if you do want to do a desktop and a mobile app or website or whatever the case may be, you can simultaneously make them together and you don't have to resize or reinsert things. Okay, that was another 1 minute and 1 second. So I have failed you. I'm really sorry, but we're just going to carry on because this is supposed to be, I don't know, informative. So I feel like I can't leave anything out when the 1 minute ends, because if I do, then you're not going to get the full sentence and then you're just going to completely lose what I meant to say in the beginning. So we're just going to forget that I'm going over by 1 second. You know, at least it's not 5 or 10 seconds. So we can just forget that I'm breaking the rules, my own rules. I set my own rules. So you know what? It's okay. I'm a rule breaker. I'm a rebel. So like and subscribe if you're also a nonconformist, because that's who we are. Let's go on to our, I think this is the 8th one, Adobe Aero. Okay, so let's do this. 3, 2, 1, go. So Aero is used for augmented reality, which is also known as AR. It's very it's like an immersive experience, you know, like you can see it in front of you, you can go all around it. It's 3D basically. So remember when Snapchat first came out and they had those like 3D dancing characters when your camera was on live mode and you could like point it around and there'd be these characters dancing around. I think it was like a hot dog or something. So that's basically what you can do in Adobe Aero. You can do 2D or 3D immersive experiences. So once you've created your AR, sorry, my camera fell over. Let's just, I'm wasting so much time. Once you've created your AR animation, you can also create a link for it to share with like your friends and family, or like an exhibition or an art project. So it's really great for, providing it to everyone, for everyone to have the same experience. And you can also make anything come to life with Adobe Aero. So you can add sound, you can add visuals, you can add 2D and 3D animations to basically anything. So yeah, it's super cool. Under a minute, bitches. Okay, let's just get through it. I'm gonna power through and I'm gonna keep going. Okay, next is Adobe Media Encoder. 3, 2, 1, go. So Adobe Media Encoder is an app that easily changes the output format of any video or media or anything that's like a visual thing that moves. So it's great for media that intends to be played in various resolutions on different devices, and it creates optimal playback for the video. So if you want to change the output of the video, it will basically, it will play the same. And your video can also be resized or cropped in Media Encoder, which is really cool. Often I find when I render videos in After Effects or Premiere Pro, mostly After Effects, so it sometimes doesn't render in the right format and it doesn't work. It comes out wonky or just renders the audio. And yeah, when I have selected for the audio and for the visual to be rendered, it just renders the audio. That's happened to me a lot. So I find that putting the rendered file through Media Encoder and changing the output to MP4, which is actually H.264, actually fixes the issue and allows the file to play normally through like QuickTime Player, or I think it's called V Player or something. But yeah, 1 minute. That was just, I think it was just under 1 minute. Okay, so we are on to our last app, the 10th app. I hope that you have enjoyed this video so far. I think I've done pretty well. I've done pretty fair, and I've gone through this pretty quickly because I don't want to bore you, and I don't want to speak too much in between, because otherwise I lose the rhythm. You know, the rhythm that I'm in. Okay, I'm gonna stop rapping. That wasn't really a rap, but I tried. This is why I do design, because I can't do anything else. Okay, so let's move on to the last app, which is Adobe Audition. So 3, 2, 1, go. So Adobe Audition is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically an advanced audio editing app. So if you're a podcaster, download that shit right now. You can edit sounds, you can mix them, you can fine tune them, and you can even modify them, which is great. It's very useful for like creating or adding sound effects to audio files. And yeah, if you're a podcaster, this is 100% your baby. 24 seconds. I don't even know if there's anything else I want to say about Adobe Audition, because I've never used it. I don't use audio things. I don't know. I just edit the audio in like Premiere Pro or After Effects, whatever I'm using. So I've never used Adobe Audition. That's kind of bad. That's actually, I do have it, but I've never used it. So that's why I feel like that was so little, because I've used all of the other apps except for this one. But I had to find a 10th app. You know, I can't describe 9 apps. It has to be a beautiful round number. So I chose Adobe Audition and just looked up what it was. Well, I knew what it was, but I wasn't sure. Anyways, sorry. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was kind of useful and kind of funny to see me fail at almost all of them, but that's okay. If you did like this video, please, like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me. And if I did say something wrong, please add a comment down below, or if you have anything extra to say, please drop it in the comment box down below. Like if you've used Photoshop and you found there was something really important that you would say to someone when you only had a minute to describe an app, please add it in the comment box down below. I'm just here to help you guys, and I'm here to offer some design tips and tricks. And I found that this is what I use these apps for, and this is what I think of when I think of these specific apps. So these are just things that I remember that I think they're important for. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next week. I hope you guys have a great week, and I love you.